All right, I want to talk about the power of small changes in your life and how a very small degree of change in your life will definitely set you up for a high level of success. I work with thousands of traders and I see time and time again people overlooking the numbers, overlooking the process, and always looking at the win percentage instead of the returns. So I want to share with you something that I've committed to for years, and many of you have heard of continuous improvement, but lots of people don't quite understand how easy it can be. So I'm going to start by sharing with you a story about a British cycling coach called David Brailsford. In 2010, David Brailsford faced a tough job. He was brought on because no British cyclist ever won the Tour de France. And as the new performance director for Team Sky, Brailsford was asked to change that. And his approach was very, very simple. Brailsford believed in a concept that he referred to as the aggregation of marginal gains. And he explained this as the 1% margin for improvement in everything you do. It was his belief that if you improved every area related to cycling by 1%, then small gains would add up to a remarkable improvement. So they started optimizing things that you might expect, like the nutrition of the riders, their weekly training program, the ergonomics of the bike seat and the weight of the tyres. But Brailsford didn't stop there. He searched for 1% improvement in tiny areas that were overlooked by almost everyone else, discovering that the pillow that offered the best sleep and taking that to the hotels with them, testing the most effective type of massage gel, teaching riders the best way to wash their hands to avoid infection. They searched for 1% improvements everywhere. Brailsford believed that if he could successfully execute this strategy, then Team Sky would be in a position to win the Tour de France within 5 years. Well, he was wrong, because they won in 3 years. In 2012, Team Sky cyclist Bradley Wiggins became the first British cyclist to win the Tour de France. And in that year, Brailsford coached the British cycling team at the Olympics and dominated the competition by winning 70% of the gold medals available. And then obviously in 2013, the Sky team won again with the cyclist Chris Froome. Since then, many people have referred to the British cycling achievements in the Olympics and the Tour de France over the past 10 years as the most successful run in modern cycling history. And now for the important question: what can we learn from Brailsford's approach? It's easy to overestimate the importance of one defining moment and underestimate the value of making better decisions on a daily basis. Almost every habit that you have, good or bad, is the result of many small decisions over time. And yet we seem to forget this when we want to make a change. We always convince ourselves that change is only meaningful if there's some large, visible outcome associated with it. Whether it's losing weight, building a business, traveling the world, or any other goal, we always put pressure on ourselves to make some earth-shattering improvement that everyone will talk about instantly or very soon after we decide to go for it. Meanwhile though, improving by just 1% isn't noticeable, but it can be just as meaningful, especially in the long run. And this pattern works the same way in reverse as well. If you find yourself stuck with bad habits or poor results, or you're overweight, or it's not something that happened overnight. It's the sum of many small bad choices and a 1% decline here and there that eventually leads to the problem. Jim Rohn said, "Success is a few simple disciplines practiced every day, while failure is a simple few errors in judgment repeated every day." And it's true. In the beginning, there is basically no difference between making a choice that is 1% better or 1% worse. In other words, it won't impact you much today, but as time goes on, these small improvements or declines compound, and you suddenly feel a very big gap between the people who make slightly better decisions on a daily basis and those that don't. So this is why small choices don't make much of a difference at the time, but they add up over the long term. I personally like setting a schedule for important things, planning for failure, and using the never miss twice rule. I know that it's not a big deal if I make a mistake or slip up on a habit every now and then. It's the compound effect of never getting back on track that causes the problem. And by setting a schedule to never miss twice, you can prevent simple errors from snowballing out of control. Now, most people love to talk about success and life in general as an event. We talk about losing 50 pounds or building a successful business or winning the Tour de France as events. But the truth is, most of the significant things in life aren't standalone events. Instead, they're the sum of all the moments when we chose to do things 1% better or 1% worse, and aggregating these marginal gains makes a difference. There's power in small wins and slow gains. This is why the system is greater than the goal. It's why mastering the habits or the process is more important than achieving a certain outcome. So where are the 1% improvements in your life? Well, this is where people get bogged down and overwhelmed by all the things that they feel like they're meant to be doing. And I'm sure most of you feel that way, and that's normal. Everyone has that. I have that. And sometimes you can get bogged down thinking that all the stuff you need to do so much stuff that you don't even bother starting. So I want to share something with you to help with momentum, because I've used this for many years and I swear by this method. I want you to think about 10% growth per year in all areas: net worth, income, relationships, reading, self-development, health and fitness, diet, and everything. Because 10% per year will make you a long-term master and make a huge difference in your life. And there'll be people around you who have amazing results instantly, but they're not the ones that are usually sustainable. So I want you to think about 10% per year. And you're probably thinking, well, hang on, you just said 1%. Well, when you think about 10% per year, that's 1% every 38 days. 1% every 38 days compounds out to 10% per year. All you need to do is become more efficient and effective to the tune of 1% every 38 days. And so you can grasp that 1% of 1 hour is 36 seconds. So you have 38 days to come up with a way to be more efficient to the tune of 36 seconds every hour. And another example is if you save £10 in every £1,000 you spend. If you're currently spending £1,000 every week on your lifestyle, then you need to reduce that expenditure by £10. And you've got 38 days to plan on how you're going to do that. That could be something really simple like keeping your tyres fully inflated on your car to save fuel. In business, if you see 100 clients every 38 days, you just need to inspire one of them to go and share your message or product with their friends and their network. The concept I've mentioned here is something I've lived by for many years, and anyone familiar with the Kaizen philosophy will understand the principles of continuous improvement. There's also a book that I want to recommend called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. He gives an analogy in the book about the small change in water lilies and how there's just one water lily on the surface of a pond at the start of the season, but by tiny increases in size each day, by the end of the season, they cover the entire pond. Now you can get the book in the link below, and if you haven't heard of Kaizen, there's also links below to give you more information on the Kaizen philosophy, and I recommend that you start your own Kaizen board if you haven't already. Lastly, I want to let you know that mid to late January, we're going to be launching the new Tier 1 trading site, and on that site, I'm going to give you the very spreadsheet that I use for my Never Miss Twice tracker. It's a daily routine which you can use to track your daily and weekly improvements. And if you commit to filling it in every day, it will change your life. So to get access to the form, make sure you get your name down if you haven't already. The launch is going to be mid to late Jan. The link's below. And I want to take this opportunity to say I hope you have made the most out of your 2017. And if you haven't quite got to where you want to be, I want to help you make 2018 a cornerstone year and get on track. So get registered below, and I'll see you in January.